Hi, Arshad.
Hello, good morning.
Could you please introduce yourself?
Hi guys, I am Irshad Petiwala. I'm part of Virgin Mobile, currently the commercial director and working with United Software for the past 4 years successfully. My main areas of focus in Virgin Mobile business is looking at pricing, customer value management, data, and of course the propositions that we continuously launch for our customers. And United Software has been a great partner to us in each of the verticals that we currently have.
What challenges did you bring to uSoftware?
I would say that the time at which we started introducing ourselves with United Software and the project got kicked off coincidentally clashed with the whole COVID-19. And one of the challenges the business was facing at that particular point of time was addressing the churn. Those were the times where consumption and user behaviors were very, very erratic, I would say. So we wanted to have a partner that can actually sit down and establish key touch points or key triggers at which Virgin Mobile can actually go back to the customer and understand and address any pain points that they have so that we can retain those users. So the biggest challenge or the task at hand when we started our interaction with United Software was how do we address concerns with customers? What are those triggers that we can identify? And then use expertise from United Software to actually retain those customers better.
Right. So what was your starting point?
I think 2019, but Virgin Mobile as a brand got launched into this market around 2017. So we were relatively new in the market, a very, very different digital propositions that we bought into the UE, which was neither prepaid, neither postpaid, but a subscription based model. So the biggest challenge for us was to first explain to the users the simplicity of the offers, which we were like fairly successful in. But then we got the challenge where customers were trying out our services and probably not understanding how best to utilize or could not compare the value from the current market offerings that were there at that particular time and started leaving us. And that's where we started understanding our customers better. We also introduced an annual subscription plan that allowed customer to stay for a longer duration of time. Then again, the biggest challenge that we have was to understand our customers a bit better, which a normal analytical tool was not helping us. And that's when we decided, okay, we need to have a proper data science team because telcos are rich in terms of addressing and collecting data from the end user, right? But to get meaningful actionables out of them was the most important task, and a lot of telcos even face now. And that's why United Software helped us out in terms of understanding those 300, 400 fields that we collate, finding out meaningful actions out of them, and then solving customer issues was the last step. So yeah, everything starts with the right data, but someone has to make sense out of that data and so that actions can be driven out of it. So that's where it started, and we managed to successfully move out of that particular challenge. As we speak right now, Virgin Mobile has one of the lowest churn in this industry. We are not only beating prepaid, but we are also competing very, very closely with postpaid when it comes to churn in the market.
Very impressive.
Mm-hmm.
What goals did you pursue working with uSoftware in the short term and the long term?
So Victor, like I mentioned, the short-term goal was understanding and addressing the churn risk that we were anticipating for our users. But what we managed to do was, as we progress and as we mature in our conversations with United Software, we started to see a lot of value not only in terms of retaining customers but also engaging. Because end of the day, you also need to ensure that customer is having the relevant conversations with the service providers so that they can stick to them. And that's where we kind of deviated, or I would say understood a long-term perspective that what are the different aspects or what are the different areas in which we can continue to engage with the users. Like for example, Dubai as a market is like 70-80% expats, and expats travel for home during Eid and Christmas. So understanding when they travel and how they travel, and then what are the products that we want to offer, were those conversations that we immediately opened up to. And we, instead of then focusing on retaining the customer, we switched our long-term attention to engaging the customer. Because when the customer is engaged and continuously buying your services, churn immediately becomes an aspect which is completely taken care of by itself. So instead of being reactive, which was a short-term objective of ours, we became proactive, where we engaged better so that we don't have to go into a situation where we have to save the customer, because if the customer is already engaged, you don't need to do anything about it.
100%. So how do you feel about working with uSoftware team?
I've worked with a lot of partners over my 15, 16 years of telco. And one thing that really stood out and I'm not saying because I'm on your podcast, you really have the team that is fully invested, and not down to the data scientists or the data engineers, but the partners who are the co-founders. They were there with us right from the beginning. And Virgin Mobile, I believe, for United Software was one of the first clients. And the level of participation and engagement that I saw from Alex, especially because he was the one who was interacting until date after 4 years, and with the growing number of clients that you have, the engagement and the participation continues to be the same. We can feel that they are still very much invested and they value each of those clients. So that really stood out, because usually what happens is, the first thing that happens when a company starts growing is the partners prioritizing other tasks, and which is very natural. But here is a very different case where United Software, with their growth, they continue to stick back to their basics, which is being invested in every partner. And I think kudos to you and your team for continuing and ensuring that you follow those ethos. So that's off.
Not off the record, but that's actually how we really think that it doesn't really matter if the client is big or small, famous or not famous. We try to create a system where we have this similar relationship, no matter if you have 60 people team with us in big revenue or one man show.
And it really reflects, it really reflects. In fact, very rare where data science, which is such a hot talent in this market, we managed to lose only one of the employees. Rest all of them are still working with us. So that in itself is a testament to the culture that you guys have created in your organization, where these guys are so engaged and motivated. And in 4.5 years, we just lost one of the resources on it.
Right. And the way we do this is basically by not selling uSoftware to the person, but selling the end brand. And doesn't really matter which company we work with. We hire the team specifically for that client, and they are completely integrated, right? So that's where you have very low attrition and you have a different engagement, because they don't think that we're a middleman in the process, which usually is the role of the outsourcing agency, which we don't think we are. How long did it take you to get the first measurable results?
I wasn't there right from the beginning, and I immediately joined the team immediately after the COVID break. So I'm sure there was some work that was done prior to the whole COVID break that we had. But unfortunately, because of the data sets massively changing, we had to redo everything. And I must say, and I keep having a lot of these conversations with my industry peers, and they keep seeking the same answers, like how and what is the immediate or long-term measure of success that we can also look at. And I said it's a game of a lot of patience. The first most important thing for us is to ensure that you have the right data structures. And luckily, at Virgin Mobile, we had very organized data structures, which we could immediately start working with the United Software team. Along with, I remember churn prediction was the first model that we went live with, and it took us good 6 to 7 months to actually clean up, understand, decode all the patterns, and get meaningful campaigns out of them. So if someone new is trying to get into this particular field and will expect magics to happen like in weeks, that's not how it is. You have to invest a good amount of time, and you have to support the partner, because the more clearer, the more richer, the more expansive the data sets are, the trends and the meaningful actionable out of them will make a lot of sense to you. It's always a situation where you have to work very closely with the partner, which is in our case United Software, and you'll have to invest good amount of time to get the results out of it. But once you get the hang of things, and once you understand how exactly it works, it's like a poetry in motion, where you just keep working with them on different models, different data sets, and get meaningful actionables out of them. Use cases are abundant, and you have to start from somewhere, but you'll have to be extremely patient. You'll have to invest a lot of time, and you need to ensure that the right amount of inputs are given for the team to work on, so that they can come back to you with some meaningful actionables. Yeah.
What were the most interesting breakthroughs, if you had any?
In terms of breakthrough, I would say booster recommendation models and plan recommendation models saw some very interesting results back to us. I think what we understood and realized was that having the right conversation with the customers at the right moment is the most important, because I can keep sending you messages for 15 days together that buy a booster, buy a booster, buy a booster. I'm wasting my time, I'm wasting my resources, I'm wasting my window of opportunity with the user, because after 4 or 5 messages, the customer probably burns out. But we realized and we identified with United Software that what are the critical time at which we can actually reach out when the customer has consumed 80% and above. We saw that the propensity of purchase will be the highest, and we said, okay, fine, we'll not send comms out to the users until they cross that barrier. And we actually got some good conversions out of them in terms of earlier the conversion was around 0.7 0.8%, suddenly went to 2% and above, which was really exceptional, and that gave us the confidence that yes, the trends actually work, and when you make meaningful campaigns out of them, you will get results out of it. So understanding those small patterns in terms of when should we recommend a plan upgrade, and when should I recommend a booster, rather than sending sporadic comms at a given point of time, really helped us not only improve our conversion, but also reduce the bandwidth that we were utilizing so massively in terms of pumping out all the messages. Our calls became relevant, they became limited, and customers saw more value and engagement out of it. So I think that was one success that I can immediately speak about. Yeah.
Why use software and not the other company?
It's not like we haven't explored, to be very honest with you. We do speak to a lot of partners, and this is a market where a lot of people keep coming back to us. Promising something over fancy presentation is one thing, and implementing is another, to be very honest with you. And we've done like so many POCs with so many partners, and we're like, okay, fine, give it a try. This is the challenge that you have. Please come back with your recommendation. Trust me, we spoke to 4 or 5 partners over the last 3 years. None of them came back. So one is you talk the talk, and the other is you walk the talk. And I think United Software very well know how to walk the talk, and that makes us continue to stick with them. And it's a partnership which is working very well. And if something is working so well, why change it? So yeah.
Yep. Anything else you want to share?
I would just keep doing the good work. Massive thanks to the entire team that we have. Alex leading from the front. We hired 3 interns actually, and the way they are maturing and growing over the last 2 years is exceptional. I've restarted my bi-weekly calls with them, and I enjoy it. I enjoy the conversation with them. And then we've got an AI expert that's also really helping us take the conversation to the next level. So yeah, good luck, and I keep growing.
Yeah, one of the slogans of uSoftware, the main slogan is enjoy the journey. So
Yeah.
I think we've been enjoying the journey with you guys.
Likewise. Yeah. Thank you, Victor. Thank you for it.
Pleasure.